Alright, let's see how I do.
Nonsense!
Euthyphro, if we could stop for a moment, I'd like to clear up a few things. You said that different religions have different gods, right? Yes, child. And sometimes these gods have different views? Indeed. Piety comes in many forms. Piety, excuse me. Okay. Dad, is something up? I don't know. I may have found a problem here. Really? That's great. Go ahead and present it. Dad? Sorry, this is just a little intimidating. What if everyone laughs at me? Just present it, Dad. No one is going to laugh at you. This isn't some deer repellent salesman. This is the real deal. Real things are at stake here, like me. Dad, just present it. Okay. Euthyphro, there is a problem with your position. Is that so, child? It is so. Look, you claim that morality comes from the gods, that we can trust them whatever they command. That we can trust that whatever they command is right. But it seems to me that if the gods disagree, then that puts your ideas in a weird place. You yourself said we can't judge their wills for ourselves, but when different gods think different things are good, what would actually be good? That would make the gods impossible to use as a source of morality. Right? That was a pretty lackluster presentation, Dad. Hey! While this may be true, the validity of the argument is not rooted in style points. Style points. Despite lacking both flair and vocabulary, Socrates has a valid point, as I believe you already know, Euthyphro. Yes, as I recall, the first Socrates made very similar points. And what, you just decided to ignore them? Arrogant son of a... Like you, he lacked the faith required to see the truth. Your blasphemy will not take you as far as you think. Poor child, let me show you where you have lost your way. Ugh, I'm gonna be hoarse doing all this crap. It is true that different deities have different desires, in my religion and between religions. I admit that this may be a source of confusion. However, there are many points on which these divine beings agree. For example, most deities agree that it is wrong to kill without cause. Clearly, what the gods agree upon is always good. Is that better, child? Well said, Euthyphro. Whatever the fuck his name is, God. Euthyphro. Euthyphro. Thank you, Avatar. As you can see, my child, the gods overcome all obstacles. What are you thinking, Dad? Well, his argument is certainly more nuanced now, but something tells me it still won't stand up to examination. I'm sorry, Euthyphro, but I still have some questions for you. My new conclusion addresses your objection. Restating your objection seems like the best place to begin. Confused you. Oh snap. These guys are sassy. Are you familiar with the Quran? Anyone who kills a human being, it shall be as though he has killed all of mankind. And in Hinduism, he who commits murder must be considered as the worst offender. There are countless examples throughout religions. The gods, in their superior wisdom, would never agree upon something that wasn't good. They would only tell us to do things that would lead to positive ends. To suggest otherwise is blasphemy. Huh, interesting. Indeed, and if you don't mind, I think I'd like to further examine that idea. I don't know what to do, Ari. This seems to fix many of the problems with his previous argument. Did it? Just because all the same words are there doesn't mean the argument follows the same way. Think very carefully about how this might be different from what we heard before. Alright, after this I'm gonna have to take a break. My throat's getting tired.
Nonsense!
Hold on, you Thifro. You say the gods only agree upon things which are moral, but how can we be sure? Wouldn't that require us to judge their wisdom for ourselves? Something which, given our flaws, we are unqualified to do? There is no need for us to attempt to assess for ourselves. Why would we need to assess the morality of things if we have the gods to assess for us? And due to the infinite wisdom, I believe it is safe to assume they have judged correctly.
Nonsense!
What now, child? Okay, that was wrong. Yes, my child. And this is true because gods will only command what is good, yes? Also true, there may be hope for you yet. Is that so? Because I think you just revealed a major problem in your argument. What? I have no idea what you mean, child. Really? Well then, let me ask you one last question. Are things good because gods command them? Or do gods merely command them because they are good? Holy fuck, I think my brain just fizzled. Look at that guy, he's just like, ah! Look, you Thifro, you have said over and over that the gods would never ask us to do something bad, that they restrict their commands to things which would be good for mankind. But in order for this to be true, wouldn't the things they command have to already be good? They would need to have value rooted in something other than the gods. Oh, nice catch, Dad. Oh my god. The fact is, even in a world where gods existed, they cannot be the source of good. They would merely serve to point out good things which already existed. Good things that are good because of other things. Excellent point, Socrates Jones. Very clearly presented. I agree, but maybe I should coach you on vocab. Things isn't exactly a scholarly term. Thanks, I think, but I'm most concerned with Euthyphro's thoughts. What do you say, Euthyphro? Are moral actions good because the gods command them? Or do the gods command moral actions because they are good? No. No! Just as I thought, you've got nothing. You talk a big game, but you clearly haven't thought out your points through. There's no way I could accept this argument as my own. It's too... Oh. Insolent wretch! I tried to help save you, and this is how you repay me? You won't last to win your way out of here, child. The gods will smite you for blasphemy. Will they? Somehow I think I'll be fine. I've already died once after all. What more could happen? There are no limits on the extent of smiting. Just you wait! You will be nothing but a pile of dust, of smolder, a warning to all who dare insult the gods. Silence! I believe we've heard enough from you, Euthyphro. Socrates was right to question you. In the end, your philosophy failed to measure up. Go and reflect upon this. But go and reflect. Yes, Arbiter. Alright, I'm gonna stop here. Give my voice a break. An old friend appears. Okay, Dad, regress. To deteriorate into an earlier state? Okay. Fallacy? A logical flaw. I can't believe I'm being quizzed on vocabulary by my daughter. And qualification? Come on, Dad. Something you need to qualify? Like a law degree. Close enough. Can we stop now? Well, that depends. Promise not to stumble all over yourself like last time? Hey, I didn't do that badly in the end. I earned all the style points. Ugh. Yeah, you were at least smart enough not to accept Euthyphro's ideas. Euthyphro's. Yeah, that's probably it. Though I could have done without the holy pun. I'm trying to keep our spirits up. I'm allowed a bad pun or two. And this is your way of doing that? Arbiter, who's next?
There are many philosophers in the intelligible realm. One, however, has come forth with the claim that he knows you personally.
Knows me?
Yes.
But that makes no sense. How could he possibly know you?
I don't know.
Maybe one of my old fraternity friends became a famous philosopher without me knowing? One of your friends? I doubt that. Bitch!
Well met, Socrates, my old friend and colleague. I believe I can help you in your quest to find the nature of morality.
Great, thanks. Actually, I don't believe we've ever met before.
What? Oh, come now, you must remember me. Look at this face. Surely a name comes to mind.
Dumbledore?
Protagoras! How could you have forgotten? We debated in Athens millennia ago.
I've never even been to Athens.
Are you not the great thinker Socrates?
No. Well, to be fair, I am Socrates, but
enough. Even if you have sadly forgotten me, old friend, I will be happy to share my lessons with you. Well then, let us hold our discussion together in our own persons, making trial of the truth and of ourselves. Simple elimination will demonstrate morality can only come from one place. Your conversation with Euthyphro has demonstrated that morality doesn't come from the gods, and clearly morality does not originate from the rocks and the trees. Thus, the only possible source of morality is human valuing. As you can see, man is truly the measure of all things. I hope my lesson was informative, my old friend.
I've told you, Pythagoras. I don't know you. Pythagoras. Chill, Dad. At least he's being polite. You don't know how that will change if he discovers you're an accountant.
Now, what is wrong with being an accountant? It is a perfectly acceptable profession. Well, Socrates Jones, what do you think? Has Protagoras found the nature of morality?
Is he trying to beat me?
I think I'd like to ask a few questions before I make that decision. Certainly, my friend. Ask away.
Alright, let's give this another go.
When all other possible sources of morality are eliminated, the one that remains is indubitably true.
Sherlock Holmes now?
This is how I intend to go about proving my conclusion. Give me time, my old friend. I'm getting to it. Morality is not derived from nature, the flow of the river, the movement of the clouds. Such things do nothing for our judgment.
What about the circumference of the moon?
Also irrelevant.
Good to know. I knew that suggestion was ridiculous.
I cannot prove a negative statement. The burden of proof lies on you. Unless you can provide some evidence showing that morality does come from rocks and trees, I think Protagoras' assumption stands.
Right, okay then. Human valuing? What does that mean?
My apologies. You see, morality is a matter of preference. As a result, it is different for each person. Therefore, whatever an individual believes to be right is right. No. Huh, okay. No. That's a rather, sociopathic way of thinking. It's the only remaining option, my friend. Is that not enough? Hold on, Protagoras. Yes, friend? Look, I understand what you were going for here, but I can't help but feel that an argument based entirely on elimination is a bit weak. I mean, no matter how many sources you eliminate, there is always the possibility that there are others you have overlooked. If I am to accept your argument, I would like it to be supported by something more. Indeed, I was just thinking the same thing. Yes, I suppose you have a point. You are just as insightful as I remember, Socrates. Very well, let me approach this lesson from a different angle. When it comes down to it, morality is a matter of values. However, different people form different values. There are no things upon which everyone can agree. It would be arrogant to presume that any position is wrong. Thus, we can only conclude that morality is entirely relative. And there we go. Huh, how interesting. I like this argument. It says I can do whatever I want. That's not what he's saying. At least I hope not. Well, Socrates? Once again, I'd like to ask a few questions. Of course, my friend, ask away. By values, I mean the personal preferences of individuals. For example, one might hold certain actions in very high esteem, noble sacrifice, for instance, while holding nothing but disgust for other actions, like wanton thievery. If you truly are confused, I recommend you check a dictionary. The definition of morality is values which distinguish between right and wrong, is it not? So I think my statement stands firm. Oh, alright then. No, wait a minute. Not only may people's values differ, they may lead them to make entirely contradictory conclusions, much like the gods... Oh god, there's a bug in here. Much like the gods of Euthyphro. I find that hard to believe. Is that so? You remember our old Athenian democracy, do you not? Sure, why not? Well then, surely you must also remember that on most issues people disagreed on what was the right way to vote. Some thought our penalties for crimes were too harsh, while others thought our penalties were not harsh enough. Why, as you know, it was even argued that you should be put to death for speaking out. Wait, what? It is not our place to decide if another's moral perspective is wrong. Well, that's true. Why would it be arrogant? Oh, come now. Do you really believe we have the right to say that one who believes that eating beef is immoral is more correct than one who is against eating chicken? Wait, what? That's a rather silly example coming from an academic. As you can see, there is no way we can say that one moral system is better than another. I guess. By relative to the individual, I mean that each person may decide for himself what is right and what is wrong. I believe the context should help illuminate my point. I believe I just did it. Hold it right there, old friend. I still can't buy your argument. You claim that it is impossible to say that someone else's values are wrong, but that is simply not true. Oh, come now, old friend, not impossible, arrogant. Do you really believe we have the right to say that one who believes that eating beef is more— I'd like to put forth a different example. You said yourself that there are individuals who believe that those who speak out should be executed, did you not? Of course. Well, I was thinking about the position of these individuals. And it occurred to me, without a free and open debate, we wouldn't even be able to discuss the things we are here. Oh, excellent observation, Socrates! He's so happy. Thank you, Arbiter. Protagoras, for just a moment, consider the consequences of that argument. If free speech were punished so, society would stagnate. Science and thought would come to a halt. Such side effects should not result from logical thinking. Free speech is one of many things not considered to be rights. Society is improved by their existence. Can you really argue that those who believe such things should be persecuted have validation? I hardly think it arrogant to express doubts in this position. Dad, this is actually kind of impressive.
Indeed, well constructed, Socrates.
The fact is, while you can argue that most things are based upon the individual, your philosophy falls apart when dealing with extremes. Such positions are indefensible regardless of what an individual thinks, and thus morality cannot be entirely determined by the individual.
I appreciate the energy, old friend, and you have raised some good points. I must confess, though, I am a little confused as to why you have suddenly changed your position on free speech.
Wait, what? The original Socrates was anti-free speech, Dad. Though, come to think of it, that didn't stop him from complaining when he was put to death for blasphemy.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Regardless, my counter-argument is solid, right?
No, not quite.
What?
You raised some good points, but not perfect points. Give me a moment, and I will show you the flaws in what you just proposed.
It is true, my friend, that most people agree on things such as free speech. However, that does not mean that such things are universal goods. For example, if one was to yell fire in a crowded theater, causing mayhem... How the hell do you know what a theater is? Come on, game, get with it. No, not you, baby. You're okay. You can stay right there. That's my arm. Oh, you're heavy. Fine. No, don't my pillow. Get... Striker. For example, if one were to yell fire in a crowded theater, causing mayhem and panic, it is hard to see how that instance of speech would then be good. As morality is affected by situation... Stop licking my mouse. It cannot be objective. Striker! Damn it. Stop.
And there you have it.
Alright, I have to do this with my left hand now.
Rights as a legal institution may be good, but the morality of how you use them can vary.
Ow, my hand.
Okay. Very interesting points. Very well, Socrates, you may now ask Protagoras your questions.
Of course, Arbiter.
I really do not see what's wrong with yelling fire. Voltaire. Sorry. You should always have the right to speak carelessly, but that does not mean doing so is good. Morality still comes from the individual.
No. You just said it was. I mean, if I remember correctly, your philosophy is that morality comes from the individual, right?
Yes, my friend, that is correct.
I see. Protagoras, You have indeed raised an interesting counterpoint to mine.
Thank you, old friend. Does that mean you are ready to accept the validity of my teachings?
On the contrary, you see, you've also demonstrated why it would be foolish to do so.
What?
You just argued that morality can be affected by situation, correct?
Yes?
That actions would be correct in one place would be incorrect in another?
Indeed. Where are you going with this?
Well, it's an interesting observation, but it runs against the grain of what you said earlier. For if morality is affected by situation, if morality were... come on. Subjunctive text, people! Then there are clearly factors other than the individual that affect it. Oh wow, that's right!
I don't believe it!
It seems to me you have two choices, but both have the same result. You could either maintain the assertion that morality is situation-dependent, and your philosophy is undermined, or you could retract it, thus giving credibility to my original complaint. But either way, the idea that morality is entirely individual is thrown onto question. What do you have to say to that?
Ha! Socrates, your rhetorical techniques have not dulled in all these years. Perhaps my position is indeed on shakier ground than I realized. You have given me much to consider. I could write a thesis on it.
And you too, Protagoras. You just may have been onto something with your idea that the correct action can change based on situation. Finding out why it does, that's going to be the hard part.
Protagoras, you are dismissed. Thank you for your input. Thank you, Arbiter. Socrates, I believe you have it in you to win this great wager, just as you did before.
Wait, what?
Goodbye, my old friend.
What did he mean, as you did before?
I thought you had figured it out by now. Huh? Taking on the Arbiter's challenge is no easy task. In fact, throughout all of time, only one has ever had his wish granted.
Only one?
Yes, your namesake. The great thinker Socrates, the wisest man in Athens. Unlike the other philosophers, Socrates was never sure of his ideas. He was always questioning, always challenging himself and others in pursuit of the truth, never satisfied with any of the answers that were provided, until he disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes, without a trace. Simply vanished into the ether, never to be seen again.
What happened to him? Was his wish to leave?
No one is quite sure. The last person to see Socrates on this plane was René Descartes,
who was a famous artist.
And according to Descartes, the only thing Socrates said was, "I found it."
Great Scott! He found it?
The answer.
Wow. That's my namesake. I really hope I'm not expected to live up to that. The social contract. Well, the original Socrates may have bested the Arbiter's challenge, but that's two philosophers down, and I don't feel any closer to our goal. It always seems to just be out of reach, doesn't it?
Do not worry, there are still near infinite perspectives to examine. In fact, I already have another philosopher ready for you to debate.
Wonderful. So who's the next philosopher? Is it another Greek dude? Because frankly, I'm getting sick of Greek dudes.
No, this one is British.
Oh, how exciting! Yes, I am simply ecstatic.
What's the matter, Socrates? Do you no longer wish to continue?
Hold on, I never said that. Of course I wish to continue. Dad.
Very well then. Give me a moment, Socrates, and I will bring the new philosopher out.
Hello? Arbiter, are you sure this is the right guy? He isn't doing anything. Maybe he's dead? Well, technically.
Hemberg! Eep! He can speak!
Of course I can speak, you silly girl. I just choose not to. You waste time with small words, and small words are the money of fools. Arbiter, who is this guy? You may refer to me as Thomas Hobbes. You should know, Mr. Jones, that my mother gave birth to twins. Myself and Fear!